Welcome back. NBA's been going crazy, Lo, hasn't it? Some good games.
Indeed, I have the Knicks and Boston game up right now. But the Knicks are down by 2 points.
Can they actually hold off? It's interesting. Can they hold the niggas off? They up 2-0? Oh no, 2-1, right?
They up 2-1, but they down by two right now, 83-81 in the third quarter, 2 minutes left.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. See if they can hold the fucking Celtics off. To be up 3-1 going back on the road. I think that may hit a little bit different.
We'll see what happens, man. That boy Jalen Brunson been hooping.
Not just him, but them pace has been snapping, bro. Pace is up 3-1.
Yeah,
They've been
they they
snapping.
they just dog walked the Cavs board last night.
Bro.
Crazy work.
What they win by like 20
30, 40 points. Something like 30, 40 point lead, something
Yeah, the
like
lead.
that.
Yeah. And just literally stayed on that ass the whole. They was up by like 40 going into halftime.
Something like that, yeah. 40 points. They dropped 80.
41. That's what it was.
They dropped 80 in the first half.
They said they tied a record or set a record.
They broke the record that had just been broke the other night by the Thunder, who had 78 in the first half.
Right.
I watched both of those games, so I saw
Yeah.
both the records get broke. So that was pretty cool.
And then for them, the Thunder they look like they falling apart right now, bro. Everything looks like it's going finally the right way for the Nuggets. Series tied 2-2.
2-2.
Should be very interesting to see who the fuck come out of that one.
Definitely been back and forth. Kind of the same like the Nuggets Clippers series. You know.
Oh yeah.
The Nuggets are champions though. They know how to pull it out. You know what I mean? Championship DNA.
They fight the fuck on every time, like you said, man. Ain't no backing down. These motherfuckers give you they all. And when push come to shove, they champs for a reason. They've been there before. They want that feeling back again. So between that and then of course Steph hopefully coming back soon. And seeing if Jimmy and because he's not coming back this game. I think he's not coming back this game at all. But if Jimmy and the fucking Warriors can at least tie the series up.
They blew that game the other night.
Bro, big time. They had that shit in the bag. Draymond has to play at. He has to play at his game 1 and game 2 series every single time, and he has to play that shit for the full first to fourth quarter. Draymond backpack 3 and he was cashing shit out, bro. Who would have thought? Draymond Green, 4 threes, first quarter, first half.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have a game like that. Likelihood of him doing that again is not very high.
Not at all. But you all are not here to see our predictions for the NBA, even though these NBAs are well needed, and these things busting. You're here because you're here to see the greatest podcast in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with the boys Goku and Vegeta. Together, we are greater than both of those combinations of Vegito and Gogeta. Together, we bring you 12 and 16, two of the greatest people in the world to form up together a brotherhood, a bond, a family membership, and set sail into the podcasting universe. The 12, 16 podcast. And we're finally here, back and ready to go for two of the GOATs.
Last week was really Arthur focused. This week was really a Shinra focused episode. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good fight with Shinra and Burns. Really like they really went at it with the Voltanovich and what was his Voltanovich V form or whatever the last form was, where he was like a flaming tiger and shit like that. That shit was cold. Seeing Shinra use the corner, but it's actually like fire, like coming out like a demon coming out to like grab you with the fire now. So like that's cool, you know. training, obviously, that happened with Shimon. You know, we didn't get to see the results of it because it was the very last or second to last episode of last season. But now getting to see that, him do that, the Blue Flames that, you know, came out later on in the episode, we did get to see a slight preview of that last season. But now we're actually getting to see him use it while fighting, which we kind of thought we were going to have to because the motherfucker's overpowered. You know?
He got to somehow, some way, break that damn power gap, bro. And them Blue Flames will do it, though. Them Blue Flames definitely took his damn power up to a whole new level, bro.
Yeah.
That demon mode Shinra, fire god Shinra, can we see him real fucking soon?
Yeah, what Joker say is gonna have to be a real hero to be the one who saves the world. So that's who he is. That's who he's always strived to be, even through all the circumstances that, you know, we've seen his life go through with his mom and his brother, and how everybody kind of like picks on him, the smile, the devil smile, and all that kind of stuff, to where he is now, his family of Fire Force Company 8, and how they're pushing forward towards the future to basically, obviously, to save the world. Hopefully, we don't know if that's what happens, but that's our hope.
Save the world from combustion. You feel me?
Man,
that's all we got to do. And then that fight was one hell of a thing until niggas turned into Ace, Rengoku, and joined the club.
Yeah, you thought he was, you know, thought it was he wasn't dead at first, you know, because Shinra just kind of like knocked him out, but you saw he kind of like put a crack in his armor and everything and pushed him, and he fell into the, you know, fell back into the rock. But like 12 said, he did get donutted. Very small, but, you know, yeah, a horn straight through the chest. So more to do with this whole like doppelganger stuff that Captain Hibana is looking into, because the demon inferno that we saw clearly had his eye missing, just like Captain Burns, and she recalled that doppelganger. So we'll see what more has to Laton, yes sir. We'll see what more has to come with all these doppelgangers and trying to take over people's bodies, or what all is to come with that.
That was the weird part that I was looking at, bro, because I'm looking at it now from the perspective of like, were they just kidnapping the actual people
person, was it? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Them, and doppelgangers are taking over now,
or something. So, I don't know.
Kind
of like the Scooby-Doo movie, using the people as like, you know, shields for the sun or something like that. We'll see.
Hey, if you know, you know. Hey, that's if you know, you know.
Hey, classic there. What you talking about? Classic. Throwback. Show our age a little bit.
just slight with it. Because we got introduced to, we know everybody is the sun for the most part, right? And then at the end of it, we seen the dude who had like the X and the O, kind of like Benny Maru, his eyes, but he had a crescent moon on his forehead.
Yeah, the like destroyer people or whatever you're talking about.
So they're obviously the opposites of the sun people who are blessed by the flames in order to become, you know, fire forces, I guess. This is gonna be interesting to see just the powers that they have inside, because I want to say that those gotta be somehow, some way connected to one another, or play a factor into the whole you all are the face, where the shadows. It's time to flip that around and go from there, which makes me think a little bit more like, is Joker from the shadows? Is he somebody?
I mean, we know he was part of that underground organization that broke free. So,
but he has to be not a non-doppelganger.
Yeah, a regular person.
Yeah. So this should be very interesting to me to see how this shit go. White class and they're doing their thing, still moving around. Company 8 holding this shit down, and hopefully they can get some fucking backup sometime fucking soon, because these motherfuckers, it's not looking too good for them.
I was gonna say, we're lucky. We clearly know that there's something, some kind of god or something like that, because that's the only reason they were able to survive the dragon's blast. Because Iris did a prayer, and somehow, some way, they were able to like get through his blast, his explosion and everything. And somebody, I forgot who it was, but they on the opposing side, they asked, was that like a divine blessing or something like
Mm-hmm.
that? So we'll see how that all comes into play, because it also maybe ties into the fact that Iris kind of looks like the girl inside the Amaterasu, how Shinra kind of made that comparison, how they kind of look similar to each other and
The
everything. So
doppelganger.
maybe that has something to do with something going forward. It's just still a lot of questions that need to be answered that aren't really, you know, it's just everything is still kind of
Yeah.
up in the air. We don't know. I mean, we know the end game is for them to destroy the world, but we still don't know why and how they're trying to accomplish it, essentially. So
Mm-hmm.
we will we'll find out in the coming episodes, I'm guessing. And we see at the very, very end of the episode that Benny Maru basically comes in to save the day from the destroyers who are gonna attack him, I'm guessing, in next
Mm-hmm.
week's episode. So that will definitely be fun to see, because
Hey, man, I'm ready
his
to see my
ass
boy in
goes
action.
crazy.
I'm ready to see my boy in action, bro. It's been too long.
Yeah, so looking forward to this week's episode for sure.
And then outside of that, what do we have? What was it? It was something you had just said that I was thinking about, and the shit just made me mention a little bit about like, oh, the doppelganger shit.
Mm-hmm.
Could Iris be the chosen goddess of the actual world, while her doppelganger is the chosen one for the destroyers? And then that be something that kind of collapse one another. Again, back to what you said about the divine prayer that she had that
Mm-hmm.
did protect them all. Looking at that from a different perspective, an angle of just, of course, enemy in general, like that would definitely have to play somehow, some way, a factor into it. Iris being like the chosen one, and maybe Shimmer not even having a doppelganger because of just him and Show. They're not. Yeah, that's his little brother. Yeah, so he might not even have a doppelganger because he may be like that wild card that they didn't really actually assess for. So of course, who's to know what happens, what comes up? This would be just a really good episode. A really good thing to see develop throughout the rest of the series. Of course, I really hope that if Iris is the chosen one, that we can see her at least getting protected in much stronger way, which probably awakens, I don't know, Arthur's real true abilities to take him to that Night Dragon Slayer God level. The way he can actually use that shit as force behind it to actually take out Dragon, because we know that Dragon's he's gonna be a fucking force.
No, but sure, we definitely saw who he is. And shit, in this week's episode too, when he basically
Yeah.
almost wiped their ass out. So
Was it what is it? He threw meteors at niggas or some shit like that?
dragon breath or something like
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm. So
So it should be very good to see. A lot of things with Inferno is going on here. Just very I had a transition. I lost it though. it was going to connect the flames from here to the Endeavor flames, kind of like the boy who we seen in My Hero
mm-hmm.
Vigilante. He's like, oh, when you get hotter, you get hotter. You look kind of cool. You look kind of like Endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
The three little degenerates that we seen earlier. But fuck it, we can transition right over into My Hero. I lost the damn transition. We'll get into it later on, probably. Hopefully, if I come back, when not, whatever.
Yeah, so for me, I really enjoyed this episode because we're getting to see the beginnings of Stain truly. How he starts to form his ideals and everything to the character that we truly see in My Hero. So there will definitely
Which
be
is
more.
crazy.
Yeah, there will definitely be more of him, because it seems like he's kind of working with Queen Bee in a way, but not
Well,
like really teamed up with her
mm-hmm,
to be a villain. You know what I mean? He's trying to stop the villains, and she's like creating them with the trigger and all that other
mm-hmm.
kind of stuff, and he's like taking them out. So you kind of see how his ideals start to form with that whole fight with
The
Knuckle
knuckle,
Duster.
Because he definitely gave him that ideology. I think I see now of what a
when
true
he
hero is,
when he first punched his ass, I thought that
bruh.
was how his nose got like that, how we see him in the actual series later on in My Hero. But you come to find out that
He was just carving himself.
he cuts his shit off. So like that was because his face is now his actual mask. He's not living behind it. It's truly who he is. He's living that ideal. Because he talks about the whole kind of splitting the personality between him being a regular person and then he
And
puts the
then the
mask
mask
on,
on.
and that's who he is. When he has the mask on, he's a different person. But basically Knuckle Duster is like, no, that's not, that's kind of how a crazy person kind of, thinks and whatnot. It's really
Well,
who
haven't had
you
a
are
mask,
no
huh?
matter what. Yeah, it's really how you act all the time. It doesn't like have an on and off switch. So he ends up cutting his nose off after the fight and everything. So I'm just really enjoying seeing his whole transformation to Stain. It's really cool.
Yeah, because that's actually pretty. What did he say? The black is for the evil, the red is for the blood that I'm going to spill from them, or something like that.
Something like that, but he said something about the stain of my blood or something
Yeah,
like that would like change the world or change this, reshape the society or something like that. And I was like, oh, stain, boom, that's how he kind of gets the name. So I'm really rocking with it, man. Really rocking with it.
yeah. And just hearing was that President Mike's voice? Is that the first time you've heard that? Was that young President Mike's voice doing voiceover commentary for the show?
Maybe I don't even really remember the commentary part, to
Because
be honest with you.
I was listening to it, I was like, bro, why does this sound so familiar? I remember hearing it in the other episodes as much, but this one, because when they broke down of like what the quirk is that he's using, like,
Mm.
oh, stain, whatever the blood quirk, looked at it and then go from there. First off, you're nasty as hell, bro. Fuck you doing going around looking people's bloods, and especially random ass people inside the back alley that you just fucking cut open.
I bet.
Nigga, you're gross. But I want to say that was President Mike's voice. I know it doesn't matter towards the whole series, but it kind of does only because that's pretty cool. They actually implemented him into the what you call it though,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Huh?
because he does the other one for the actual My Hero. Yeah, so he's gonna decide there finally. I love seeing that, but you skipped ahead a hell of a lot. Let's pull back, I guess, to like the actual beginning part from the
Yeah, the opening
hospital.
part was really just the stuff in the hospital with the
Yeah,
three teens and all that kind of stuff and seeing how they interact. But they weren't really trying to be villains. And what you really come to see is something that we see in the original series, which is society kind of pushes them into that role. The guy with the spikes was only kind of looked at like that because of how different his quirk was, even though he has a
he had a
quirk like
villain quirk.
everybody else, but his quirk seemed villainy because he accidentally hurt a kid, and it just kind of spiraled
They
and
was literally
spiraled
just
from
playing
that
on the playground, bro. Like
and
kids
ended
get
up
hurt all the
scratching him.
fucking time.
Yeah, his quirk came out, ended up scratching him and stuff. So it kind of like spiraled and all of that kind of stuff until that's how he ended up on that side of society, which is kind of cool to see because that's Shigaraki's whole philosophy. If it doesn't fit into what people deem acceptable, then you just kind of cast into like the villain or outsider kind of role, and it is what it is. And as
Which
we see that kind of build up, that resentment comes into play in My Hero, which is what we're currently dealing with right now with the war and everything. So
yeah,
those kind of little things are kind of cool to see as well, how it kind of helps to influence what goes on in the actual in the main series, I should say.
yeah, because you got Shigaraki that happened to he Toga, her shit was like that as well. Very, very tragic with it. But you see people like Bakugo who had a villainous quirk that definitely switched over to the opposite side of thing, and he's holding his quirk down for the good of evil, as well as is it not 13? 13 is the black hole one, right?
Yeah, where they said she could be a villain because she could
Yep.
it could be used to kill. And then
hmm
how I can't Spinner, how he's looked at like a freak and an outcast and all that kind of shit. Showed you was too, but their whole comparison with their whole episode and everything kind of shows, even though Shoji was still an outcast and they did terrible things to him, it didn't stop him from wanting to help and protect people. So
Mm-hmm.
and Spinner, on the other hand, he's outcast, a lizard, and all this other kind of stuff, and he turned to
Stain's
basically
ideology, though.
yeah, despair and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see what all happens.
Bro, I'm tired of them saying these fucking lizards, bro, inside this damn thing because I keep thinking, oh my god, we got Splinter finally. No, we don't. Like, come on now. Fuck shit. Tired of, just show us this man already. I know he has to be a kid at this point, though. Not a what he has to, yeah, he has to be a young teenager, maybe kiddish around that point because before he gets into the actual My Hero verse. This is 5 years before, and I think he's like only 18, 19 years old, some shit like that. But for sure, definitely got to see. Love watching it and shit like that. But something that they mentioned though inside there, Trigger actually gave them an extra quirk because they asked, "Oh boy, like, oh, what do you think that had a? Did it give him? Is it an extra quirk or is it unlocking the truest potential of your quirk?
It's unlocking more potential that you couldn't originally do.
Because he went from a lizard to a dragon and started flying.
Basically, kind of evolved. That's basically why the other dude only
The
got
bat
like
and
bigger fire.
the bigger fire from him, and then the bat turned to a vampire, of course, as I go through it. So I'm starting to see the trends of how it is going. That full a level of the unlockability with that, and then I guess if you go from Wolverine, you go to a porcupine.
So I guess that's what he transformed into from the spikes that he had. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But really cool to see that stuff happening at the beginning part of it, and then just jumping around to see just how true of a hero. What is his name?
Koichi.
Koichi really is. Yeah, it's you're like a spitting image hero of what we see with Deku because you just literally are out there to just help people in a truest form and got just a small bit of praise. I want to say from fucking Splinter. I mean from Stain. Stain
Mm,
did give
taught
that
him a
small bit.
basically true hero ideology. Trying to actually help somebody. Yeah, but he said because you're trying to help a villain is or what Stain deemed a villain is not being used the correct way. So I can go ahead and put you down. So
Sucks though. And then
we
out of
will
nowhere
definitely see.
comes a drum kick.
Yeah, Knuckle Duster came in, whooped him up, and that's kind of how we get to the whole ideology speech and ideology change going forward with Stain. So yeah,
Really cool.
obviously when he gets back to the place and does all that with his face, he hits Queen Bee in the face with one of his little knife things.
Dagger
But
things,
yeah,
yeah.
but she's
Right in
not
the
dead.
beat thing too.
Yeah, she's not dead. I mean, I'll bet I knew she wasn't dead because he hit her in the eye and there wasn't anything there because that's where all the bugs and stuff come from. So
Mm-hmm.
she'll be good. We'll see how she continues to
Work for
affect things and work from the shadows for All for One, and how that could potentially play into what goes on in the main series and potentially even to the first injury of All Might, since this should be around that time this happens because it's 5 years before the main series, which is when
mm-hmm.
he tells Midoriya he got hurt. So this is
So
during that time frame. So maybe this kind of trigger thing leads to him getting like overly powered and he injures All Might, and All Might is able to still hurt him because the effects of the drug or something like that. Because we
mm-hmm.
see what he is later on in the beginning of the series and everything. He still kind of has to have the machine and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. We will see. I'm really looking forward to it.
Nigga OD'd on Trigger, and then now he have to have a machine and life support.
Yeah, right. Because they weren't able to find a super regeneration quirk or something like that. That's what the doctor has said in the main series. So
That
I'm
good ear,
excited, man. You all know I say it all the time when we talk about vigilantes, but you all know how I feel about my hero. So
big
um,
three.
I'm really, really excited to see more of this world and these characters and everything that goes on with their story and just a bonus added on of how it connects to the OG series. So
Mm-hmm. Getting us put right into it, right in fucking to it, man. Oh, this is gonna be good as fuck. I'm getting a bunch of updates right now from fucking Twitter with everybody going KD and Luca from the team up now. But let's go through with it. I'm actually really excited for this shit too, bro. And then we do still have, of course, Last and to be Hero X to come up at some point in time. We will get back to those. We didn't drop them off. Promise you, we didn't drop them off. Just gotta get back to them soon. But that being said, kind of a quick one because this One Piece is the full episode 16. Take us on home.
all right, everybody, we appreciate you all for making it this far in the live stream, the video re-upload, whatever you are watching it on, because it helps out the video, which in turn helps out the channel. If you did watch it, you did like it, you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that like button. Want to see more from the 1216 podcast, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified anytime 12 might drop something, anytime I might drop something, anytime we might drop something together like now, or anytime we go live, hit that notification bell, select all, and we will see y'all in the next one.
The power of friendship is a strong one.